Well, hello everybody, and welcome to SkyTour LiveStream, another night of streaming for you. Brought to you by, we don't really have any sponsors, do we? Well, but brought to you by myself, Amanda, and Daryl. All three of us are here tonight. So how are you doing, Amanda and Daryl?
I'm well, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Oh, we're great, man.
Hi,
We're all great.
Amanda.
Hi, Daryl.
Hey, as Daryl always says, everything's better with...
Aw,
Yes, with Amanda.
not me.
Oh, all right. Not you.
Well, maybe me.
Yeah, maybe you, I'm sure. So guys, tonight we're going to have some fun. We're going to be looking at a few objects. We do have a relatively bright moon, so we're going to be looking at jewels of the night sky tonight. And that is here in You're Welcome to SkyTour LiveStream. And tonight it's Hidden Jewels of the Night Sky. So let's check it out and see what we can find. There's a tremendous number of objects that are available to us right nearby. And they're only nearby when you have a telescope. They're not nearby if you do not. But in reality, they're very far away. So, onward and upward. Here we go. Back to our traditional view. I've got the planetarium view here. And this planetarium view is sequestered on the right side of the screen. On the left, you actually see the live view. And then we got telescope controls here, for those that remember. And we also have camera information right here in the background. So this is the full view that you'll also get to see quite a lot. And I bring this up just for context now and then. So, so right now the scope is pointed at something called the Intergalactic Wanderer. What is that? Let's find out, shall we? Let's do a 10-second shot at 12,800 sensitivity here and see what we get. Thank you for coming out and joining us tonight. It's sort of we're having a fun time. Daryl and Amanda and I have been talking while we were waiting to come up board here, and we have some. Yeah, actually, Amanda's got a really fun idea that she's gonna maybe spring on you tonight, and I'll just have to give her a chance to think about whether she wants to spring it on you or not. This is the Intergalactic Wanderer right here, by the way. It's this little tiny, this very small cluster. Yes, Amanda, go ahead.
Well, I don't know. If anyone in chat was interested, we could try a little game.
We love games.
We could try to describe something, deep sky object, and see if you guys can get it. And with any luck, we can go see it. And I was thinking, as an example, we could say, not only is it the first Messier object, but it could also be a tasty meal. And then you'd have to figure out what I was talking about, what deep space object I was talking about. And then when we have a winner, Mark can go to that, whatever it might be.
That's correct, if we can. And this is...
I downloaded Stellarium, so hopefully I'll get things that are visible.
Look out, folks, she's dangerous.
But it is a full moon tonight too, so that might...
Well, not a full moon.
Some images.
It's a little brighter. It's approaching the waxing gibbous. Hey, Carol. Carl's here. Nice to see. She actually asked when we're going on live because she was concerned. She was waiting, and I was supposed to come on a lot earlier. So, I didn't. But I'm here now. And the other night, Carol was on with Daryl and I, or Keith and I, and she's been on with Daryl and I before when Amanda couldn't make it, and then she's been on with Amanda as well. Mm-hmm. So everybody knows Carol Carl. She's KGRA host, as I am, and her show's Friday nights at 7 p.m. called Behind the Obsidian Curtain. So please do check it out because it's really cool. And Marianne Robb is here. Hi, Marianne. Marianne is my favorite police officer.
She the one you went on ride-alongs with?
That's correct.
Yeah, nice. Hello to everybody there.
Yep. I didn't realize that Marianne was out there lurking in the view as well in the chat. But I'm glad she's here too. You know.
And hello, everybody, if I missed anybody.
Well, everybody covers it. You know, that covers it.
I'd certainly hope so.
Yeah. So we're having some fun tonight, and we're going to spend some time digging through the night sky. And let's hope that you guys enjoy it as we will. We're going to have some fun. So we looked at this particular, the Intergalactic Wanderer here, and it's a NGC 2194. It's a little tiny open cluster, and it's really a fascinating little guy. It has more than 100 stars in it, and so maybe what we can do is see if we can bring those out. So we'll do 15 seconds, and we're going to go up to 16. No, I'm going to do 20,000 ISO. So really, really high for the moon being out. But here we go. Let's see if we can do it. And being that it's a rich cluster, we should be able to see. We should be able to see a little bit more of it. You know. Again, it's a jewel that you just don't see, you know. Yeah, there it is. And as you can see, the moon does impart a blue hue to our screen, okay? And I do see that there's also, it's a very rich cluster. You can see there's a little red dwarf in this cluster right there. And it's probably a cosmic interloper, not something that's you know, that you would actually see in the cluster. It's actually either in front of or behind the cluster, most likely. Really fun though. That's cool. You know. So that said, Amanda, you make sure you just jump right in if you want to throw some things at everybody here. I think you brought in you actually gave them one. You said it's the
I did. I don't think anyone is interested.
I don't think they picked up on it.
I'm just sitting here. I love this community so much. Like, everyone just spent like the last 5 minutes saying hello to each and every person in here individually,
Yeah,
back and forth, and I love it. I love it how welcoming and friendly this community is. Yeah. You guys rock.
Yeah, we've been going for only 10 minutes, and we're already several pages of chat. So clearly, people are interested in saying hi to everybody else, which is very cool.
And a few people said already expressed that they're really happy you're streaming tonight. So.
Well, fantastic! Thanks, guys. Yeah, when I'm running the observatory like this, I don't often get to see everything, you know, in the chat. So I apologize for that. But you know, not bad. I'm very pleased. You can see I've got white light on in here, and I'm going to change that now to my proper settings. I like to have red light in here during this time. There we go.
I bet you dollars to donuts that's Orion's right elbow, right above where your scope is pointing.
Well, let's test it here. Yeah.
Well, they show his hand, but okay. Close enough.
That's pretty close. That's right.
It's his right arm, anyway.
Yeah. But let's see. In his right elbow, there is something here. All right? And it is a open star cluster. And,
all right.
Yeah. And it's a little guy, but we're going to check it out. Let's go check it out. We're going over to Orion's right elbow, guys. Look in the view over here. You see stars moving. That's because we're moving to this location. Okay. Yes, sirree. And this is just a little bit northeast of Betelgeuse. That's Betelgeuse down here. This is pretty good. Okay, so let's check it out. I'm really happy that you all came out to play around tonight and check it out. Very pleased. 15 seconds at 20,000. Let's look for that little tiny cluster. Which cluster is that? Well, it's called NGC 2141 right there. Okay. And we have liftoff. Oh, this moon is killing us. Well, one thing we have is this really, really red star right here. This could be a carbon star. I'd have to check. Oh, another red star there. And the cluster is right here, but it's just so faint. Oh, yeah. Well, these are little jewels. There's no doubt. Yes?
Well, I tried.
What?
Huh? I tried.
Oh, no. I wanted to see, I wanted to see.
I think I see a cluster there. Maybe,
You're talking about here, right?
A little, yeah, maybe just a little to the right of where you were pointing.
Right there?
Right, yeah.
Oh, well, maybe. All right. Let's see. Did I tell you that you were here, Daryl? I think the other night, last night, I actually sat here and I got an alert on my phone, and I looked at the outside cameras and noticed an animal, a fairly big animal, walking through the view between me and the observatory here. So, not sure what it was, but I did end up going out and I saw no hide nor hair of him, whatever it was. I want to welcome everybody in the chat here, by the way, who's joined us. I see some of the newer names we haven't had before. And I want to welcome you guys. I know we have, of course, Dee Dee, who's wonderful and always here with us, which is great. Neutrino's here with us, fantastic. Marianne is here with us. Carol Carl is here with us. Jim Smith, welcome. And Justin's here, that's nice. And Ronald is here from ERRT Radio, one of the greatest radio stations on Earth. And Danny Fan 1, of course, is Amanda, who has several shows on ERRT Radio.
Don't let the cat out of the bag.
Oh, I can say you have that, can I?
Yeah.
I didn't say which ones. And then, let's see, we have Jim Smith. Welcome, Jim. I think I said that already. And then Neutrino. Excellent. Nancy W's here. Daniel Whitaker, welcome. Again, I saw Daniel yesterday. He asked some good questions, I believe. And Tim F. There you go. Tim F is usually the first one here, and he usually writes first. Not tonight. Whatever stopped you, it's okay, Tim. You're okay. It's fine being a little bit late, because then we're in full swing. And, of course, my daily side is here. Thanks for coming along for the ride and hanging with us. It's really good to have you with us tonight. If you have any questions or comments, please put them right here in the chat. We have 2 people besides myself looking at the chat for you. So we'll be happy to take requests. But remember the question, it's part of the game that Amanda has initiated here on SkyTour LiveStream.
Yes, let's try this again.
Go for it, Amanda.
Shall we?
Please do.
Okay, question for the chat. And
it's
possibly,
a game.
if anyone gets it, we can go see it?
Yep.
Okay, here's the question. I'm going to describe an item in the sky, and you guys have to figure out what I'm talking about and put it in chat, okay?
And they'll see what you mean. It's not as hard as they think it might be.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Okay, not only am I the first Messier object, but I'm also a tasty meal. What am I?
Excellent. I like the phrasing. I like that. So it's like...
I would love to be a game show host.
Well, you are.
I really would. Oh my god, that would be so much fun.
So you can say, not only am I the first, but I'm also a tasty meal.
You know what? Honestly, my eyesight is so bad, I can't actually see the questions. I can't read fast enough on Jeopardy on the screen. I
Really?
listen to Alex say the clue. And he has little ways of kinda, hinting what are
Oh.
key words in the clue.
We have a winner.
Yay, we do.
We do.
Very good, Daniel.
Daniel
Very
Whitaker,
good.
well done. Yeah, he's a smart guy. Smart guy. And then Ronald, right behind him. And James Dugan, welcome. Nice to see you joining us. Thanks for coming over from down under. So nice to see you guys. All right, well, you know what? He wins. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to go see it.
Yay.
I think that we can do that, can't we? Yes,
Okay, was that fun? I don't know if that was fun. I had fun.
It's only
I thought it was fun.
It's just the beginning.
And now you'll learn something. The Crab Nebula is Messier object number 1, M1.
That's right. And we got to just jump up here to see it.
And I'm a vegetarian. I don't eat seafood either. I don't eat any animal, anything that was alive. But a tasty meal. Some people like crab.
Well, I mean,
Right?
if you eat salad,
Okay.
salad was alive.
That's true. I knew you were going to get me on that. That's why I kind of trailed off.
Oh, you're funny. All right, guys. We're off to the Crab Nebula. Watch the left screen. You'll see the stars zip by. Some of them, there they go. There's a bright star going by there. And you can see the telescope indicator moving to the Crab Nebula. This star indicates we're pulling in to the starport here. And if we now just give ourselves a little bit of space to move around a little bit, all we have to do is move over a little bit and then jog us back a tiny bit. And there we go. And now we're going to do 20 seconds at 20,000. So it's going to be there'll be a fairly bright blue cast on our images tonight, guys, because the moon is really close to this location that we're actually capturing in. So we will see for sure a blue cast on most of our images tonight. But don't worry about it. It's fun. It's all good. Okay.
Ha.
So here we are. And right there, dead center in the view, with a little bit of a blue cast, yes, is the Crab Nebula. Tasty snack, but in 1054 AD, it was a frightening omen for Chinese astronomers who saw this as a new star during the day. And the Crab Nebula, okay, if we look here, okay, the Crab Nebula is actually at a distance of, let's see, it's about 652 light years or so. No, I'm sorry. It's
Ooh, something going through the Crab Nebula right now? It is on my stellarium.
Oh, does it show like a satellite or something?
I don't know.
No,
I don't know what it is.
I don't see one. Well, in stellarium, what happens is they will simulate meteor showers, and you'll see little meteors go zipping through. You know.
It is Molniya.
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 Molniya. That's Russian.
Artificial satellite.
Okay.
NORAD 21118.
Well, is it going right through the location of the crab?
Yeah, I'm watching it. I'm watching it move. It's going up. It's going right through, past the January salt and pepper cluster.
Okay, so was it already past the crab?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Maybe we caught it too late. But as you can see, the Crab Nebula here is a supernova remnant, a remnant of a star that literally exploded. It ran out of its final fusion fuel, and gravity won, and this once massive star collapsed inward in itself. It's called a core collapse supernova, and it blew itself apart. In technical terms, we say the star has been disrupted. I just like it blew its guts out. It blew itself apart. When gravity compressed it right down, and all the outer layers of the star slammed onto the inert core of iron, and it rebounded off there, ripping the star to shreds. Because now the rebounding material is coming back outward, and it's colliding with other material that's rapidly falling inward. And that caused a lot of energy to be released, a lot of collisions, a lot of thermal increase, of heat temperatures inside, millions and millions and millions of degrees higher. And that's a point at which new elements get made, some in the supernova as well. So the supernova is, I don't know, I'd say one of the most cataclysmic events that could occur in the universe. Probably one of the most regular that occurs is a supernova. And one of the stars that's going to do that very thing is not too far away, and that's down here in Orion. Okay, where we were.
There is a star I wanted to go see too, and I had a clue for it.
Okay, then let's hear it.
And I just hope it's not the one you're going to.
All right, let me hear it.
This star is something the Wicked Witch of the West would be interested in.
Ooh, I'm liking this.
Do you know what it is, Mark? Don't say it.
I'm not gonna say a word because I don't.
Don't say anything either, Daryl, but do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I do.
Wow. So that actually makes sense? I guess you know the star in question.
Yes.
Kind of a stretch, maybe. Okay, that's your clue, guys. This star is something the Wicked Witch of the West would be interested in.
Actually, I mentioned this on the, I think it was the Thanksgiving night stream we did, Mark.
Yeah, you probably did.
Yeah.
And maybe we can look at it.
Good guess, Daniel, but no. It's close to the Crab Nebula. That's why I'm looking at Stellarium in the background, too.
Okay.
So I'm trying to find things that are close that we might have a good chance at seeing.
That's a very good idea.
So that's a hint for astronomers.
If it's close to the crab, I may be thinking of the wrong thing.
Well, maybe not close. Close is relative, I suppose.
Same part of the sky?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I know what you're talking about.
Never heard of that galaxy, Charles. The peachy keen flying monkey galaxy.
Charles Smar, always the Joker.
Maybe they don't know.
Maybe
it's too big of a stretch. Maybe you really have to know the star and the sky to... I mean, I wouldn't have known. If I didn't know the name of that star, I don't know if that clue would have made sense. It's a something star.
It's a something star?
Yeah, the blank star.
Oh, see, that's good too. Give that kind of clue as well, because that will help people very much.
It's a the star.
V for victory.
The blank star. Okay, well, maybe they're not going to get it. Daryl, what are you thinking?
I assume you're talking about the Witchhead Nebula next to the star Rigel in Orion.
No.
Oh,
I was not.
Okay.
She said it was a star, not a nebula.
Mark, what do you think I meant?
Well, you were talking about the Wicked Witch of the West, and
Yeah.
The Witchhead Nebula looks like the Wicked Witch of the West, and it sits right next to the star Rigel in Orion.
No, it's a good guess. It probably would have made more sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi, Fantasy.
Well,
No, not Tabby's star, Jim.
That's a good guess, though, because Tabby Star is one we've actually looked at in SkyTour LiveStream.
Mark, what do you think I meant?
I don't know. You
Oh.
have got me stumped as well.
Well, I just saw the name, and it was kind of the first thing I was thinking. How can I work that into the Wizard of Oz?
I think that's pretty cool. Why don't you give another clue?
It's a color.
Oh, but see, there's no green stars.
Well, the green's not the color I had in mind.
Okay. But the Wicked Witch of the West was green.
I know, but what was she interested in?
Oh, yes, she was. The Ruby Star, the Garnet
The
Star.
Ruby Star! Yay!
Oh, yeah.
And that's kind of close to the Crab Nebula, isn't it? It is on my stellarium.
Wow. Well, we got to see the Ruby Star.
Okay, did the clue suck? Maybe this game is going nowhere.
No, stop that. You just gotta. You're hitting your stride. Don't worry about
Okay,
it.
I'm working on it, guys. The next one.
All right, we're gonna go look at the Ruby Star right now. If it's nearby,
It's close, isn't it? Yeah.
I'm gonna find out right now.
It's down and to the left.
Yes. Oh, we should be able to see it.
What do you need to know? Because I just clicked on it.
Oh, I'm
Do
there
you
now.
need the HD number?
Nope. I'm moving to it right now.
Okay.
If you look at my stellarium, you'll see it, and now it's in the middle of the screen. There it is, the Ruby Star. What's interesting is the star is 1,792 light years away, and it's pretty darn bright. Okay, it's a magnitude 4.3, and the star's magnitudes can be negative or positive. Negative being brighter. The sun is like minus 26, for instance. Vega, okay, is magnitude 0, and we have stars like this one are magnitude 4.3. These are naked eye stars, potentially. If you're in a very busy city area, you might not see it. But let's go image this star, the Ruby Star. And we'll do 15 seconds. Well done, Amanda. This was actually pretty cool. I thought this was a good clue. Too bad nobody got it, but that's okay. I think you got a good idea. This is a really good idea. An excellent quiz game.
And again, I'm just trying to find things that are close. I just downloaded Stellarium before we started streaming, so give me time to start making more sense of it and finding more. So I found some really cool things, but I don't know if they're visible right now.
Yeah.
And where the dome's pointed right now, I don't want to be jumping all over the place. Let me see what I can find.
But if I've got to move the dome a little, that's okay too. Wow.
And I thought with the name the Ruby Star,
Yeah.
I thought it would be pretty to see. So
And it is, if you'll notice.
it is.
There it is, guys. The Ruby Star right there.
I think we've created a monster, Mark.
I know.
Yeah.
I should never have told it against Stellarium. I'm kidding. Best thing you could ever have done. Best thing.
I pressed all the letters on the keyboard too. I didn't press any of the symbols. I didn't know what they would do, but
Okay.
only
Okay.
certain ones do certain things.
Yeah, well, there it is. The Ruby Star. Okay. And the reason...
And you guys can download Stellarium for free yourselves.
That's right. Now, the reason...
Stellarium.org.
Yes?
Check out the night sky and...
Now, as I said, this star is over 1,600 light years away. It's actually 1,700 light years away and almost 1,800. And it is so bright because of the fact that it's an M star. And usually you think of M stars as being cool and red. Well, it's true that they are. But they're cool and red when they're dwarf stars, meaning when they're on the main sequence, they're burning hydrogen and fusing it into helium. That's when the star will be small and only like 1/100th of the output of the sun, for instance. But when a star stops fusing hydrogen into helium and it starts burning or fusing helium into things like carbon and nitrogen and oxygen and neon, it grows in size and it becomes a gigantic, very, very big red giant. And because it's red, it's cool, and thus the color puts it in the M category once again. All right, so it could be a different type of star, but once it evolves to this location, to this point in its evolution, it's a cool star, you know, as in low temperature. So we get this star that is an M star, but if you look here in Stellarium, you can actually see that the star is an M2. All right, and that's the designation which you're familiar with in the color scale. It goes from M0 to M9. Okay, as well as OBAFGKM. Amanda's talked about it many, many, many times. But you'll notice the letters next to it. This is its evolutionary state, basically. This is a Roman numeral 1 AB-1b. This is a supergiant. And thus, it is highly luminous because it has so much surface area, even though its temperature is very, very low. The outer envelope, the outer area here on the outside of the star, is probably only about 3,000 Kelvin, maybe a little less. So that's just a few thousand degrees Fahrenheit. That's not even very, very high temperature. So that's why they're so visible to us. All right. And so the stars have the colors of the stars mean one thing, but their evolutionary state, those letters that come after the number and the letter and number designation, that tells you whether it's a giant, whether it's a subgiant, whether it's a white dwarf even, or others, you know. So there's a whole bunch of designations that go into that, and that's called the luminosity class, the thing that comes after this spectral class. The spectral class, the color class, is the letter followed by a designation, like how many degrees of red is it. M0 is the least degree, M9 is the most degree of red. All right? And the star will be redder at M9 than it will be at M0. Okay? And the luminosity class tells it where it is in the evolutionary state. Okay? So a V is like the sun, which is Roman numeral 5. Okay? And that's the sun's a G2, you know, G number 2, 5, Roman numeral 5. This star is an M2, but it's a Roman numeral 1, and that means supergiant. And A or B or AB or 1b, those are all various elements of a supergiant star. So the Ruby star that Amanda has brought us to is actually a supergiant star, which is, again, why it's visible from almost 1,800 light years away, as bright as it is, because it's a massive star. Pretty cool.
I wonder how bright it would be if it was as close as Betelgeuse is. I assume it's a rather similar type, red supergiant.
Yes, it is. And that's a good question. Betelgeuse is only 450 light years away, all right? But it's also substantially brighter. If we go to Betelgeuse, it's the brightest star in Orion, right? So if we look at Betelgeuse down here, right, its magnitude is 0.45 as opposed to 4.3, which is what the Ruby star's magnitude is. All right. So why don't we go to Betelgeuse and check it out and see what the difference is in the brightness. All right. So
okay, I'm lost in Stellarium again.
That's okay. He'll come back. So there's Betelgeuse. Betelgeuse, Betelgeuse, Betelgeuse.
Hey, this could be a good look for me.
Remember that? I don't know if you remember that in Betelgeuse. I'm not sure if I like Keaton better as Batman or as Betelgeuse. I think probably as Betelgeuse.
Probably.
Yeah.
He was good in Batman, though.
He was. Alright, so here's Betelgeuse. And let's now do the same exposure, 15 seconds at 16,000 of Betelgeuse as we did for the Ruby star. Okay? And let's look and see if we see a difference just in the way we capture it. Alright.
Oh, wow. I found Betelgeuse kind of accidentally.
Yeah.
That's Orion's right shoulder, Amanda.
That's exactly right. Damn, you're so good. Yeah, there it is. See?
I've been here before.
Oh, yes, you have. Yeah, no, you got some really good qualities there, Daryl. Yeah, see, there's Betelgeuse. And...
There's the satellite about to go through the top, through the 37th cluster.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just
if that's accurate. Yeah, we have to make sure those things are accurate. Okay, so there's Betelgeuse, okay? And now, let's go look at the Ruby Star. And there's the
on
Ruby
my
Star.
stellarium, it looks like Orion is just coming up.
Yeah, Orion's...
You may need to set your location in Stellarium.
It says
Amanda.
Place Bay.
Oh, okay.
Close enough.
What time of the year? What's the time on the computer?
Oh.
Your time
Yeah,
should
today.
be midnight. Midnight in 10 minutes.
I don't know how to switch that.
So here you see the Ruby Star we took a picture of earlier. Compare that now to Betelgeuse right here. Okay. You can see that
Betelgeuse is bigger and brighter, but they're both red.
Yeah, it is brighter.
They're both supergiants.
Yeah, and if we look at Betelgeuse's type, okay, Betelgeuse is what's called an M4. So the Ruby Star is an M2. Betelgeuse is an M4, so a little more red than the M2. Its luminosity class, or evolutionary state, is Roman numeral 1 with little letter b. And if you remember, the Ruby Star was a 1AB, so it was sort of in between kind of thing. Well, this is a 1B, a Roman numeral 1B. So, kind of similar,
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Amanda mentioned the 37 cluster, I believe.
Okay.
I wonder if we're talking about the same one. There's a cluster up in that part of the sky. I always thought it was in Gemini, if I remember right, where it looks like a great big number 37 written in the sky.
Which cluster is that? If you say the 37 cluster, I'm gonna get angry. No.
That's what I was thinking. Mine's all messed up.
What do you mean it's all messed up? Well, we're gonna take a look at the monkey head while you guys are figuring that out. For anyone that knows about the monkey head, we have explored the monkey head in detail and checked it out. It really was pretty. So we're here now, and let's go over to the starship and get ourselves to the window. Alright, well, let's bring up our controls here, and let's just give us a little bit of a jog. Solidly lock on, which we've done. And in 15 seconds at 16,000 again. Hey there, Happy Lux. How are you? Thanks for coming out. And dude, what's going on? You alright, man? What's going on? He says he was having some issues tonight. Why? Yeah, the monkey head is not... It's sort of here. Can't really tell. Again, the moon is not good for nebulae, guys, but the clusters that are associated with it, you can see. So those are cool. We looked at Thor's helmet yesterday, and don't forget, we stopped streaming yesterday at 2:30 in the morning.
Wow.
Yeah, and then I was up at 8 to do running around and everything. Went to an ugly sweater party tonight. And that was kind of crazy. But, I have crazy nieces. So, yeah. We can... Let's see where the moon is now. It's still up there. Still 30 or 40 degrees up. Yes, Amanda?
I need more buttons on Stellarium.
Oh, don't worry. You're going to be getting used to this. They're getting used to it. Okay, so we're pretty close there, but now, do you want to do anything with this other cluster we talked about before?
Which one?
I can't say it out loud, can I? I'll help
Tis
you.
the season. Is that the clue?
That's the right.
Oh,
Okay, your clue is tis the season. Where are we going?
We've been there before.
Yep.
Probably around this time last year.
Uh-huh.
That's correct.
It's a really
Sorry,
nice
I'm off
one,
screen
too.
here. I don't know. I can't find the names of anything.
Happy Luck said hi to you, Daryl.
Oh,
Where
Mr.
can I?
Computers. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Amanda.
Sorry, where can I type in what I'm looking for?
In the chat to us in the Skype.
No.
Oh.
In Stellarium.
Hit F3 and a
F3.
yeah, F3.
Ooh.
And a box comes up, and then you hit F3 again for it to go away, or you hit Escape. But type into the box, and you'll see it appear, and then refine it to what you see in down below to get only that one. You can't click on them down below. It's a little oversight on their part. So yeah, I'm thinking that this is probably not a bad game, Amanda. This is probably pretty good, you know. Yeah, we have 29 people out there who are enjoying it with us.
Okay. I found Beetlejuice again. Okay, so yeah. So how did they do? The clue is tis the season.
Right.
And it's a cluster.
That's
Where
right.
are we going?
There's a cluster we want to go to, guys, but we have to find it. But you have to help us with the name. Your clue is tis the season.
I'm biting my tongue here.
Yeah. So
And you know what?
well, I don't know if it's that, but yeah.
I have to do this project soon myself, actually.
You do?
And yeah.
Oh.
Oh, here's a great hint. Bill's already done.
Bill's already done. Why is that a great hint?
For the cluster we're going to see.
Yeah. Why is he already done?
Well, I can't be too specific.
No, you can't. Okay, I'll wait.
Something he's done with
All right.
already.
Well, I don't know if anyone even knows what you're talking about.
I bet she's talking about Christmas decorations.
Well, she probably is.
Charles got it. The Christmas tree cluster.
Hey, Charles, well done.
Yes.
We tried to go to this before. I took off the nebula so you wouldn't see it. But it's right here. And there's the Christmas tree cluster, guys. Let's see if we can get there. Last time we tried about half hour, 40 minutes ago. We couldn't get there because the dome was in the way. But because the sky moves from east to west, and it was only partially in the way, we might be in the clear now. Ooh, ah. We can see the stars pulling in here as our instrument realigns and gets us going. So let's cut over to the instrument itself and check it out. Alright, so here we are. Let's move ourselves just a bit. I can move it over this way, and I gotta move it this way. There we go. Now look at that shape on the screen.
Yep.
Can't miss it. See, this is at the top or the bottom of the tree, gang. Yes.
That's the bottom of the tree.
Here's the wide bottom, and here's the conical top. See that? That's the Christmas tree cluster. Can't see it? Well, let's go and do a 15-second exposure of it at 16,000 ISO. Tinsel cluster.
It's just east of Orion. It's in the constellation of the Unicorn.
Yep. Oh, we moved a little bit. Yeah, we moved a little bit. I'm going to do this again. As you guys know, I'm actually quite a stickler. I want to make sure that when I take pictures that they come out right. I'll tell you why, too, because I've actually got something to show you. In fact, while this is exposing here, right now, let me bring up another shot to show you. We did this last night. This image shows an object right here in an open cluster in the constellation Puppis. And because of the new filter, we can see this in unprecedented detail. You can actually see this is a sphere of expanding gas around that white dwarf. This is called a planetary nebula. It's the end state of a star. And the big thing about this cluster was that this star here is a star that has died, leaving only the hot exposed core as a white dwarf behind. Yet this is a young cluster. Well, then how can this be here? Are stars of different ages in a cluster? And the answer is not generally no. So what the truth is that this is an aged star. It is an old star. It has died. But because the universe is in 3D, this star is at around 2,000 light years away from us. And this cluster is 4,000 light years away. So you'll pass this and leave it behind and still have to travel 2,000 light years to get here. Isn't that beautiful? Oh, you see that red fringe around it? That's something I've never seen before. It took my breath away. It looks like the Ring Nebula. I've never seen it with this kind of detail. But thanks to this new filter that we're using, it's really quite good. You know, Daniel Whitaker, you got it. I mean, this is oxygen 3. That's what that teal blue is. Doubly ionized oxygen. And I've told you before that oxygen 1, which is Roman numeral 1, oxygen 1 is the ground state. That is, there's no electrons off the atom at all. But when it gets ionized one time, it's called oxygen 2, Roman numeral 2, and then twice Roman numeral 3, so oxygen 3. And that's what we're seeing here. And when the electrons get popped off the atom, they will spontaneously try to recombine with that oxygen atom or another one as they lose some energy. And as they recombine with the atom, they give off the energy that they obtained to get ionized. And when they give it off, the atoms end up landing in many different energy states in the oxygen atom. However, they go predominantly to the one that makes this teal blue that you see. So you see many different states in here, but this predominant color is the one that we see. And that's where this comes from. That's how this color originates. And then we have this fringe of orange, or red rather, which is either hydrogen alpha or neon or both. So we're seeing the results of this hot star here with the ionizing capabilities. And as this shell expands slowly, it's destined to go dark someday, because it's going to get far enough from the star such that the star can no longer ionize the gas. And when that happens, the nebula will slowly fade away as it expands. And that size for these planetary nebula, based on the typical size of a white dwarf, which is about the size of the Earth, is approximately a light year in diameter. So if we see a planetary nebula that's a light year in diameter, then we can actually try and figure out its distance based on knowing how big it is. But if it hasn't started to fade away, then it hasn't reached the light year yet. You know, this one probably has not. So it's pretty cool. So I really enjoy this. So this is the other night, last night actually, that we took. This is one single picture. There's no stacked images here. If anybody wants this picture, I will make it available to you. Let me know in the chat. I have no problem doing that. You guys are, of course, you guys are my superstars out there, and you deserve it. So let's go back to the Christmas tree cluster, because that is what we're here to see. So here we are. All right, and let's take a look at the Christmas tree cluster itself. Yeah, there it is. And it looks like an inverted Christmas tree. See that? And down at the bottom of the Christmas tree cluster, on a non-moonlit night, we'll see another nebula down here that's really fascinating. And we will. Okay, Ronald, I got you. We will actually image that in more detail, because I've never imaged it with the new filter, and I'm absolutely certain it's going to be stunning. So we're going to do that too. So there it is, the Christmas tree cluster. And Amanda, I have been giving you time to think of another one if you want to.
I think they only make sense if people know them. If people already know the names.
Well, I know, but keep in mind that what you're saying is you're teaching them too. It's a game, so they're interested in that. I think it's kind of fun. So if you notice, look how many open clusters there are around here.
No, I got one.
Well, we're gonna go.
Try it.
Well, okay. Well, you can. I'm gonna take us though to Hubble's Variable Nebula, which is one that people have actually asked about in the past.
Good choice.
Yeah, it's right next to it.
I didn't have a clue for that one. Some of them I can't have clues for because they're crazy names.
No, I know. That's fine. That's fine.
Well, Amanda, that's one thing you need to take with a grain of salt in Stellarium. I remarked before, they have some rather fanciful names in Stellarium. Some of these I've never heard of before.
Yeah, and I think that the names that they use in Stellarium are probably names that have been given by amateur astronomers as well. Not every one of them. Okay, there really is a star called the Garnet Star, and the Ruby Star. Okay, and some of them are supergiants and some of them are carbon stars. I really want to find a carbon star to show you guys that's nearby if we've got one. Well, here we go.
Mira?
Huh?
Mira?
Can we see Mira right now?
Mira's in Cetus.
Hmm.
Mira's the carbon star, isn't it?
Yeah, it's near the moon though. But we can check it out maybe.
Oh.
Well,
I don't know how to tell. I'm
Here's-
reading the little index thing. I don't know how to tell if it's carbon star or not.
Oh, okay. Well, it has a special spectral class. Usually it's a C with a number, a capital C. This is Hubble's Variable Nebula. This is a really cool nebula. I imaged this for the first time. Believe it or not, this is gonna make me sound old. Well, I'm 59, so whatever. Who cares? I imaged this for the first time in 1982, and I did it with a 20-inch refractor. The telescope was 40 feet long, and the entire floor moved up and down to meet the telescope. And it was an old Alvin Clark refractor, one of the top refractors you can have in the world. I imaged Hubble's Variable Nebula with it, and I was so astonished by what I saw. The thing was so detailed, and I was actually taking special plates, as we call them, the images of this, just for study, and I was tracking the light changes over time, the variability of the nebula. The star that you see here in the nebula, it's right. Let me get to it. This star you see right here at the bottom of the cone here, I know that looks like the star that's probably illuminating this. Guess what? It's not. It's a star you can't see because this nebula, this here is a little keyhole peeking out of a dark nebula that is here. And so this is just a little fringe area. The light that's being made, the light that's changing this is actually coming from inside the dark nebula. You can't see it. But there's a conduit that can see to the nebula from there. That's what's illuminating this. And the star that's in here illuminating the nebula actually has this large black mass of dust that is orbiting it. Maybe it's a circumstellar disk, as we call them, but either way, when you look at the way that this light functions, the nebula changes apparent illumination. You can see, in fact, Daryl, you'll remember, and Amanda even, this didn't look like this a couple months ago. We've looked at it before, or not a couple months, but last year we looked at it.
We looked at it a couple of weeks ago, and yeah, it changes. The nebula changes light. Light and dark areas, and it does it over a relatively short span of time.
It does. In fact, right in the center part of the nebula right now, it looks pretty smooth. I would say that there's nothing blocking the light right now coming to this nebula. Okay.
Yeah.
But at times you can actually see a line or a weird shape.
Yes, and we saw that last year.
We sure did. Yeah, we sure did.
Had a big dark mottled area in it.
That's right in the center, and then tonight we don't. So, and that's the beauty of this nebula, and it ends up right, you see it right in here. It gets dark in here, and it only happens when that star has that dust cloud that's orbiting it. So we think. We don't know for sure, and that's so much. That's the fun part, is figuring out how it could happen. What can I say? I'm just a glutton for anything astronomical. What can I tell you? So hopefully you guys don't mind that. So that's Hubble's Variable Nebula. Now, Amanda, you had one you wanted to do?
I did, and a suggestion for one came in, but I don't know if it's close or not.
Okay.
I think it is.
Is this Ronald asking for the horse head?
No.
Okay, because the horse head's not going to be visible tonight due to the moon.
Okay. This was a suggested question
awesome.
For chat.
Go for it.
This is Hitchhiker Messier's answer to everything.
Hitchhiker Messier's. Okay. Is this the answer to life, the universe, and everything?
Yeah.
Okay.
I know what it is.
Yes. That's a very good one. That's
Nice.
Excellent. I wonder who can get that. All right, guys, where are we going? It's probably going to give another hint. It's probably going to be a little bit difficult to see at the moment. And the reason has to do with the dome, not anything else. But I will look at it for you. I'll do what I have to do.
And then I have another one after that. It might not be as good, but
It's okay. I like that one. Did that one come in from who'd that come in from?
a guessing game for Skype. Who do you think sent it?
I'm gonna
Charles
get,
Smart.
I was going to say, I think it was probably Charles.
Yeah.
Was it
Well, I
Charles?
think Carol was maybe reading chat.
I wasn't.
I was.
I was
Well, I
not.
saw he said he sent you a message via
Yeah, he did.
Facebook
Oh,
Messenger.
okay.
Well, it's below the belt of Orion, I'll say that.
Daniel got it.
Exactly right. Okay, tell
Messier
you.
42. Very
Okay.
nice.
Well, you know what? I made a promise that no matter what, I'm going to go to the objects that you guys figure out. So let's see if we can go there. I'm hoping we can see it.
It was a good question and a good request.
Very
So-
good. Yeah, very good.
I'm not quite sure what we're going for. I'm just going based on names and trying to work a clue around it,
Fair enough.
So I'm not sure what we're going to see. I figured the ruby star would be pretty, though.
And it was. It was very pretty.
And the next clue that I have, I'm pretty sure we've seen it before.
Okay.
I couldn't tell you when, but I have a feeling we've seen it before. For some
Okay.
reason, this name sounds familiar to me.
Okay. Well, let me just get the Orion Nebula in here as requested.
Daniel's on it.
And Daniel Whitaker,
Good
you're
call.
pretty good. Pretty good, man. There it is. The Orion Nebula. Okay, we have... we're hitting below the belt tonight with Orion. And Just want to give you one quick thing here, just a little, I just can't help but tell you cool things. Okay, if you look over here in the view, you can see that, excuse me, I'm going to move us a little to the east so that comes in here. Okay, you'll notice that there's 4 stars that you can see there in the center. These 4 stars are in part powering the Orion Nebula, and they're called the trapezium. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, and those trapezium stars are very, very hot, very, very young, and they are causing a lot of the Orion Nebula to glow. Okay, so that's the close-up view there to show you. And now let's actually do, I'm surprised it's still here. Let's do 15 seconds, and I will drop this down to make it a little prettier. We'll go to 10,000 and see what we get. Hopefully the dome isn't interfering too badly, because I know it's going to be interfering, but I just don't know how much. Let us to see.
This is fun.
It is fun. I'm liking this. I mean, your other... Oh, look at that. Nice.
Pretty.
Yeah, very nice. So, so there it is. That is the answer to life, the universe, and everything. Messier.
Pretty much, yeah.
42. And it has a whole lot of relevance, because Messier 42 is a star-forming region powered by those hot stars in the middle. We talked about the trapezium, and those stars very much play a role. And I'm pretty sure that these stars are the kind of thing that will eventually lead to star systems with planets. Right now, planets in this area couldn't really harbor life because they're bathed in ultraviolet radiation that's energetic enough to make the gas glow and luminesce. That's something that humans in life and organic life is going to have a really, really tough time with. So we always have to wait for the nebulae to calm down and go back to a state where they're not, as energetic,
I still see Bill Murray eating the Baby Ruth bar. Sorry. For what you're saying, I suppose one big difference, Mark, could be that because these are all very young stars in and around the nebula,
yes.
Or Orion Nebula being a stellar nursery.
Yep.
You're talking millions of years old versus, like our sun, our solar system, and Earth and us, billions of years old.
Yeah.
So give it a few billion, and there may be life there too.
That's right, and Daryl's absolutely right about that. I believe you are correct. When we look at the Orion Nebula here, we're seeing a nebula, as Daryl said, with these young stars. Well, our star was a young star once, and we were in a nebula once, and all that gas has been dispersed. We've continued to move around the galaxy. We've taken up an independent orbit. We've interacted with other stars and swung around the galaxy, almost 20 times since we were formed. So in that time frame, you're going to get stars moving out of their nebula, their nursery nebula that they were formed in. You'll get the stars with hot stellar winds and very copious stellar winds blowing this hydrogen gas and dust away from them. This is a young system, so we're not seeing that too much here, but we do know that this system is one that's going to change. It's changing all the time. It's just that the changes, as seen from the distance where you're at, like 1,600 light years or so, the changes are going to seem slower because we're seeing things at a really, really huge scale here. If you were right here at this star, or say right in this part of the nebula here, you might not even know that there is a extremely bright oxygen 3 arm bar here in this nebula. You wouldn't maybe even see that you're bathed in this hydrogen alpha radiation here, you would certainly have to be a visitor to this location because you couldn't have formed there because it would all be too energetic. But the thing that I'm saying is, once you're in there, you might not even know you're there. You might not even know you're in it. You know, it's like when you go into a cloud with a plane, you could be flying through it and you know you're in a cloud because the plane gets kind of bumped up, bumping around. And that's because the water molecules are denser than the air. So the plane hitting those at 450, 550 miles an hour, it feels a little, bounce that's going on there. So every time you go in a cloud, it gets a little bumpy. I've actually learned to love those bumps. I really like that stuff. I like that bumping. I just put my head down and, let myself relax and sleep. Just hope the pilots
Daniel had a question.
Yes.
I'm not quite sure how to read it, though. He says, are they orbiting each other? The trapezium. Awful close. I don't know. Does he mean is the trapezium orbiting?
Well, he means as the stars in the trapezium, are they gravitationally bound? And the answer is probably yes at this point. But, having 2 stars gravitationally bound, that's really common. Having 3, less common but probable. Alpha Centauri system is that way. The primary components, capital A and capital B, Centaurus, are, they call it Alpha Cen. Those 2 primary stars are type Gs like our sun a little bit. One's a little different. But then surrounding both of them and orbiting at a much larger distance away is Proxima, the little red dwarf. And there's even a question of whether Proxima is gravitationally bound to those 2. They think it is. And it's around Proxima we actually found the planet. So having 3 stars that are gravitationally bound, as you can see with that system, is possible. 4 stars, on the other hand, that's tougher. Depends on the actual orbital mechanics. For instance, Epsilon Lyra is a good example. You have it's a double-double. They're basically 2 stars that are separated from each other by some distance, but each of those stars itself is a double. And if you zoom in close, you can see that it's 2 stars. Go to the other side of the Epsilon Lyra system, and you see that it's also a double star. Well, each of those double stars, those stars orbit each other, and then as a whole, the 2 double stars orbit together. So it's sort of a possibility with 4 stars that makes it stable. But in the trapezium's case, they were probably just formed in the last several million years. So these stars are probably haven't settled into their gravitational comfort zones yet, I would say. And most likely, it could be that one of those 4 stars could end up getting ejected from the Orion Nebula. And if that happens, we can actually simulate that with Universe Sandbox and show how 4 stars together start the simulation, and then watch over time how we can create a trapezium, and then watch over time as they actually migrate away from each other and figure out how the kinematics are going to go there. And Darryl was on the money. He was thinking the same thing. The star is going to get one of the stars may get ejected from the system.
I think we looked at Sigma Orion just recently.
Yeah.
That's another classic example. I mean, there are stars upon stars orbiting each other there.
Yeah.
But there's a real debate about how stable it can be over the long term.
That's correct.
Some of them are going to get flung out of the system.
Yeah. And Sigma Orionis is right up here. This is Alnitak. You have Alnitak, Alnilam, and Mintaka in Orion, and they are the belt stars. So Alnitak, an O9, I believe. Alnilam, another O star, and Mintaka. These are all stars that are only in the millions of years old. Alnitak, I believe, is about 4 million. Alnilam is 5 million, I think, and Mintaka is only 3. something like that. So it's pretty interesting. Okay.
That's Sigma Orion, just to the lower right of Alnotech.
That's right, and I'm thinking that we want to go there and check it out, because Sigma Orion is really beautiful. Let's go over
Is
there.
Capella a double-double?
Capella is a strange double star. Yes, it's beautiful. Did you look that up?
No.
Oh.
Daniel's asking.
Oh yeah. Yeah. If you well, you know what, Amanda, here you go. Here's one for you. Look up Capella, and then report to us what we're seeing in Capella.
Oops.
Well, we're going to Sigma Orion right now.
I thought it was F3. Oh, it is. Okay.
Yeah. Oh.
I was in-
Well, you say oops as I'm doing something. I thought maybe you saw
Oh,
something.
no, me. I was saying
No worries. Okay, so Daryl just
Capella.
told you about Sigma Orionis, and here it is.
Capella is a double star
Yes.
with magnitude of 0.05.
Yeah.
An absolute magnitude of minus 0.54.
Yep.
I don't know. Color index says BV. So is that blue violet? It says
No,
0.79.
it's actually B minus V.
Oh.
That gives an indication of how red the star is or how blue the star is. If the number is low or negative, it's a very blue star. If it's a plus, then it's a redder star. You know, and higher pluses are even redder. So what is Capella's? It should be like maybe a 0 point something or positive number.
Yeah, 0.79.
Okay, yeah. So that's a fairly yellow star.
Its distance is 42.80 light years away.
That's right. And Daniel's right. It's like a golden color. Yep. I love the guys. You guys are fantastic. You know. And Amanda,
That really looks that interesting.
you are totally dangerous with this app. I love it. I'm very pleased with how you've come along with astronomy. You are just, you know, you're insatiable sometimes with this stuff. I'm so proud of you. Okay, this is.
I have another suggested clue. Since
Okay.
we're at Capella, we're close.
Well, we're not. We're actually at Sigma Orionis right now.
Oh.
And I don't know if we got the bill. I don't know if we can see Capella without moving the dome, which is fine. We can go to that side of the sky. Let me just bring us over and since Daryl was talking about Sigma Orionis, let's talk about Sigma Orionis, and we're going to take a photograph of it to do that. Daryl, did you want to tell folks about Sigma Orionis?
Sigma Orionis is it's a multiple star system. I won't call it a double or even a triple. I would have to look it up to tell you again, but I know there are actually a bunch of stars there, and they're orbiting each other, or some are orbiting others. Some of them are themselves double stars, I believe. You know, there's like groups orbiting groups up there.
Yep.
Again, there's a question of how gravitationally stable they'll be over the course of time.
Right. And if you look at Sigma Orionis here, you can see that you got a bright component, you got another secondary component here, you got a couple others out here. And how far is Sigma Orionis from us? Do you know offhand? Because I'm going to go look, if you don't.
Not me, no.
Yeah, it's 1100.
I don't have stellarium, but
1148 light years.
is it fair to say it's about the same distance as the other bright stars in Orion?
Yeah, well, kind of. I mean, if you look at Alnitak, okay, Alnitak's distance here, all right, Alnitak is 817 light years, so it's actually further away. But then again, the Horsehead Nebula here is being this whole field of hydrogen alpha. This is hydrogen gas that's being excited and forced to glow because of Sigma Orionis. Yet it's Alnitak which lights this flame nebula here. So if you build a three-dimensional model, guys, what you're doing is This and this are closer to us than this and that. These two are further away, and these two are closer. This lights up this lights up that. This does not light up that, this does not light up that, yet it looks like it's right next to it. Again, it's a 3D universe. See? That's really cool.
Amanda, you were saying about Capella, please. Don't let me break your train of thought.
Oh, no, nothing. I wasn't saying anything about Capella. I clicked on it on Stellarium. It didn't look like there was much more of interest. Mark said, and tell us about it. I don't know what to tell you about it.
Sorry, I didn't mean to put you on the spot there with anything,
No,
but
that's okay.
It is a double star system, isn't it?
Yes, Capella is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Capella, well, he's the head of Auriga, the charioteer, I guess, and for some reason he's carrying 2 baby goats in one arm while he drives the chariot.
Well, I don't know why he would be doing that. Who does he think he is?
Maybe he's related to Arcturus, the herdsman.
And maybe he stole the goats.
Or Bautis, the herdsman.
Yeah.
And maybe he did, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know, when you look at Castor and Pollux in Gemini, what made those guys famous? Well, they were a pair of twins, beloved by the gods, I guess, and Castor got killed in a cattle raid of all things. That doesn't sound very heroic today. I guess that was probably heroic to some Greeks a couple thousand years ago, but Castor got killed and Pollux lived, and
Are you sure?
Yes.
Well, both
Pollux died.
Both Castor and Pollux, well, they both did eventually. Castor and Pollux are both double stars. Castor here in Gemini, and here if I show you the mythology, you can see the Gemini twins in the sky, and you can see the constellation of Gemini. And I'm telling you that for a reason, because we're going to look at something up here. But Castor, right, is an A1 star. Kind of like the steak sauce. No. It's an A1.5 4. All right. And that's Roman numeral 4. So that's a subgiant. It's not quite a giant star, but it's a subgiant. And Pollux is a G9 3, Roman numeral 3. It is a giant star. So these are big stars, massive stars, right? And the distance is to Pollux is only 33 light years, and the distance to Castor, on the other hand, is 51 light years. Okay, Castor is magnitude 0.91, and at 51 light years away, 51.55 light years away, and the distance the brightness of Pollux is magnitude 1.15 at 33 light years away. So as a giant star, Pollux is actually not quite as bright. Actually, it is. It's actually a little bit brighter than Castor, and it's farther away. But it's a giant star. So again, the bigger giants look brighter to us. Castor is actually a main sequence star. It's actually fusing hydrogen into helium predominantly. So it's a fascinating little star. And since we're talking about it, why don't we just take the telescope there, we watch the stars zip away, and we're going to head up to there and head up to that location. The telescope you can watch moving here. And there's Castor, guys, right there. I love my telescope. It's so beautiful. All right, and we'll take a photograph of this because Castor is a nice little main sequence star, A1.5V. There's another mixed designation of it. But the thing to notice about Castor, as I said, is Castor is a double star. And the separation, let's see, the separation is 5.2 arc seconds. So, it's small. Okay, it's a small separation. But let's go down and zoom in and see. Okay, so there we are. Now, I have a little calculator thing that I can pull up here. We can, if we start in the middle of Castor and go away. Okay, see, that's 1 minute of arc out to there. That's 1 minute 17.95 seconds, and we're looking at a separation of the component of only 5 arc seconds. So we're talking about something that is right around, let's see, 0 minutes 31. Gosh, it's very small, like that. It's a very, very tiny separation. So we may not see it, but we're gonna just take a picture of it anyway. So I'm gonna drop this down to 5,000 and do just a very low exposure, just to check it out. And you'll see Castor fade a little on the screen here. All right, so this will be a 1/90th of a second at 5,000. So here we go, and it won't look much different than that. And let's just take a look. Well, obviously the star image is very unstable right now, so that's not going to be very helpful. What can I say?
Excuse me just a moment, please.
I will indeed excuse you. All right, so here we go. Let's take us up to let's do 8 seconds at 8,000. Any other game ideas, Amanda?
Yes. Where are we now? At Castor?
We are. Oop, and look at that. We're just impinging on the edge of the dome. See that? That's that sharp line. Hey, Keisha Fowler.
That looks beautiful.
Yeah, I know, even though it's not to an astronomer, that's a crappy picture.
Oh,
Yeah,
I love the blue.
I know you do.
It's beautiful.
So, yeah, so go ahead.
Okay, hold on. Okay, question for chat. It's a cluster that the lonely people would go to.
Oh, that's interesting. And the idea, guys, is
And that was a suggestion.
even if you don't know the answer,
Just guess.
yeah, exactly.
That's what I'd be doing. If I was in chat listening to these clues, I would just be like, is there a such and such cluster or a so-and-so star or whatever? Do you know the one I mean, do you think?
Maybe, but no guarantees.
My house is not a cluster.
Huh?
And Timothy said my house is not a cluster.
Haha.
Do the lonely people go to Tim's house?
Aw, that's funny, Tim.
Ah, bar cluster. No, good guess though, Daniel.
Hey, that's excellent. That's really good.
Hilarious.
Let's see here.
The name of this cluster reminds me of the song Eleanor Rigby. I don't know why. These words aren't actually in Eleanor Rigby, but
Okay.
saw the lonely people. Where did they all come from? Maybe they come from this cluster.
Hey, not a bad thought. Okay, this might be different here. We are now at Pollux, the star Pollux, and we're just taking a photo.
Castor's brother.
Yep.
And Daryl said Castor was the one that died, so Pollux wanted to give up his life for... Close, Keisha. It's where the lonely people go.
Wow.
Maybe. The lonely,
You don't say it.
newly single people?
I know what you're talking about, you know.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Even if you don't know it, you can figure out the name, and
Or if you have Stellarium, you can look for things near Castor.
that's right. Hey, Daryl, welcome back.
Thank you. What are we looking at now?
Well, she gave a
I
clue.
just posed another question.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's where all the lonely, newly single people go. It's a
Yeah.
cluster.
That's right, and we're trying to figure it out. And I know
close to
where it
Castor.
is. I know where it is. I know what it is, but it's okay. And I gotta make sure that I don't give it away.
Not the strip club cluster.
Oh, that's funny.
The creative bunch we have here.
I know. Well, while you guys are creating, I'm gonna take us over to the Eskimo Nebula again and see how it looks right now. We looked at it the other night. I showed Daryl and Amanda this the other night. I'm sorry.
You mean Carol
earlier.
and Keith.
No, I mean you and Daryl earlier tonight.
Oh, earlier
Yeah.
tonight, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I showed you guys. So I want to show everybody else. So this cluster has, or this object I'm in now is a planetary nebula called the Eskimo. And as I've looked at this as a kid with a backyard telescope, and it took a long time to find it. And now it's just almost a sin that I can find it without missing a beat. You know? And I don't even need this much time. I really need to... I can drop it down, I think, to about 6,400. And let's go east and then pop back west a bit. Here we go. And off we go. This is 15 seconds, which is way too long, but you'll see it. All the lonely people, where do they all come from?
If you went to this cluster, it would be fatal.
Oh, wow, that's a good clue.
Is that a new spin for it?
Yeah, that's a spinny spin.
Well, there is such a disease. Usually if people have been married for decades and one passes and the other does shortly after, they have this syndrome.
Oh.
That's the cluster. Aw, I know. That's sad.
You see, there's that characteristic color again, Amanda.
Yeah, that's the one I was telling you about.
Yeah, what Carol was calling Amanda Blue.
Actually, she was calling it yesterday. She was saying Amanda Blue.
Yeah, I saw that in chat and I was like, I don't get it.
Now you
And
do.
then someone else was like, yeah, Amanda Blue, it means teal. I'm like, really? Since when?
Well,
Then Carol asked if it was my favorite color. Blue is my favorite color. I don't know about teal, but
yeah.
or an imperial blue maybe. But I love the Cat's Eye Nebula, and that's a gorgeous kind of tealish.
Carol was
And
being
it's
complimentary.
It's the very same color.
Carol was being complimentary to you.
Yes, but now that I know, I love it.
Okay,
It's
so
a characteristic wavelength of doubly ionized oxygen, O3.
right, that's right. And now I have to consider that maybe I knocked the scope out of collimation a little bit.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, not from here. I did. Okay, because it's actually not. They're not crystal clear and sharp like they were the other night. Let me just inspect some stars here, guys.
And we have some more guesses coming in, but no,
Okay.
Daniel, it's not the beehive. And no, Timothy, it's not the widow cluster.
Wow, those are cool ideas. Very good, guys. Keep it up. Yeah, so I'm just checking out my stars. I know I've got these should be points, not disturbed shapes. So I don't think that it's due to any interference with the dome, but it could be, and just not enough for the red light to cause a problem. Because this is what it looks like when the red light, gets in the way. All right. Okay, so I'm going to.
No, not the wedding band cluster.
Ooh, good call. Good call. These guys are right on top of things.
I know, I feel like it's such a weak clue.
It's not a weak clue.
Because it was another suggested object.
Okay.
And I thought of doing it before, but again, I can't find a really strong clue for it.
Is this the one where all the lonely people go still?
Yes. And the syndrome.
Okay, well then how about this? Here's another clue. We looked at a nebula by the same name for the name of this cluster. That's another clue.
Pete's close. He said heart cluster. Could you be a little more specific?
I'm
Sorry,
lost.
I'm making up these clues on the fly, and not all of them are good. Yes, Keisha got it. Broken heart cluster.
Wow.
Oh.
Oh, what? Sorry, Daryl, you didn't get it?
No, he has a broken heart. It's just he has a broken
Well,
heart.
at first I said it's a cluster where all the lonely people would go.
Yes.
Then I said the lonely, newly single people. And then I was describing the syndrome where if people have been married for decades and one dies and the other passes shortly after, they usually call
Yeah.
that broken-hearted syndrome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
But I guess you would have to know that in order for it to make sense, but good call, Keisha. Very good.
Well, who hasn't had a broken heart?
I know.
True.
So, can we go see it when you're done here?
Yes, I'm just trying something here. Yeah, that was the crab. Okay. Let me get out of this for a second. Okay. I'm gonna just... not that. I want this. Yes, here we go. I'm gonna do this. And do... 10 seconds at 8,000 here.
Amanda, that happened to my grandparents on my mother's side. And my brother and I had just been born, and, we were just little teeny babies, so I never knew them. But they passed within about a day of each other.
Wow. Yeah, just a little bit of the dome for the
That is
twinkling
sad.
comet. It is.
Oh, it happens. C'est la vie.
Okay, so you want to see the broken heart cluster now? Okay. Let's go there. Okay, let's see if we can get there. Not sure. The dome might be in the way, but we're going to try it anyway.
It's conveniently between Castor and Capella, looks like.
Yeah, and let's take a look at what the telescope's actually doing right now. Okay, it's looking like it's it might be impinging on the dome, but you know we're gonna try it. Of course we're gonna try it. We're not gonna cause anyone any grief. We're gonna look. All right, and then go west, young man. And do 10 seconds at 8,000 to check out the Broken Heart Cluster. Hey, Beach Dennis, good to see you again. He's Santa Monica, I believe. And he was here yesterday, which is really kind of fun. Hey, look at that. Look at that. There's the Broken Heart Cluster.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it did. Looks nice. It came out beautiful.
Its name
Yeah,
is
yeah, man.
the Beach Boys.
What'd you say?
Yeah, Amanda.
What'd you say, Amanda? Bob?
That was Carol's suggestion, actually.
Oh,
Really?
Yeah, Carol.
Did I do a clue for the Broken Heart Nebula?
Broken Heart
cluster?
Wow, Carol, very good.
Oh, when you first said that, Amanda, I thought I had seen a cluster in Solarium called the Lonely Hearts or something like that.
I saw the Lonely Heart Cluster as well.
Oh, really? If I would have picked that, and I would have
I
used Sgt. Pepper's.
I thought she was talking about that.
That's me too.
Yeah. Yeah, see, I've got a little collimation error. So, I'm going to actually try another thing. And you guys have probably seen this before, but you know what we're going to do tonight, right now? We're going to go and try and do some focus work. I'm going to try and do a focusing to try and get this to work for us. I want to try and see if I can get a little focusing going here. Yeah, and so. Oh, well, I gotta be up in here.
Ooh! I don't know if that's gonna make sense. I thought I had a good one, but it only makes sense to me because I know the answer.
Well, if you know the answer, then other people may or may not.
No,
So go
it's
for
too
it.
weird. No, it's too weird.
Oh, you can't just sit there and go, ooh, and then I'm telling you.
Ooh, never mind. Never mind.
Yeah, ooh, no way. It's like, oh, yes way. Now we need to know.
Okay, when you're ready, I have one.
Okay.
It's so lame, guys. I'm apologizing now. It's so lame.
All right, well, I'm going to focus right now.
It's just when I saw the name, I saw an image. So I'm going to
Okay.
use that image as the clue.
Okay. Let's see how this works.
Help us out here.
No, it's not going to make any sense.
Well, then it won't.
How can I want to see this. I clicked on it to see what it was, and I want to see this now.
Well, give us a clue.
I'm working on a clue. You take pictures of what you're doing and
All right, you work on a clue.
give a clue.
All right. I'm just, I did a little focus. Let me see what I got here. Okay, still a little bit out. which is okay, because I'm all right with that. So now we come back in here, and I'm going to go back into the focus mode that I've got, and let's do that. Okay, so up and atom. Hey Daisy and Zoe, thanks for coming out. Glad you could join us. We're looking at some of the jewels of the night sky. I'm doing some focusing right now of the telescope just to give myself a little better edge here. Okay, that's a little better. I think it's a little better. Okay. So that said, I can now get us back to the view at hand. Let's bring it down again. There's the cluster we're looking for. And I saw my mouse going across the screen. I thought, oh, a satellite. It's like, duh.
That catches me every once in a while.
Yeah, you know.
I'll see your mouse go by and I'm like, ooh, what's that? Oh, nothing. It's a mouse.
Don't feel bad. You're not the only one that does that, as I do. Wow, there's a beautiful cluster. And what cluster is it? Well, I will show you right now. We are looking at the Broken Heart cluster, the one from the earlier clue that Amanda actually cleverly foisted on us.
Attempted.
Yeah, pretty cool. Very nice.
The other one's not going to work, and
Oh.
I don't have anything better.
Okay, well then you can tell us and let someone in chat fix it and give you a better one.
Okay, here's your clue, guys. Okay, listen. Think of the logo, okay? The more you know.
You have to help them with the logo.
Well, I can't.
Okay, because that's probably...
Okay, when I say the more you know, what
The more
image
you know.
flashes across your mind? And what it is before the rainbow is left behind.
Whoa.
That's as specific as I can be.
That leaves me out because I have no idea now.
Really?
Yeah.
It's a star, isn't it?
Yeah, but what's it doing? And you're not supposed to be guessing.
Daryl, you have now been admonished by Amanda.
Aww.
I'm going to go to Bad Bear Corner, okay?
Aww.
Good one.
I'm a bad astronomer.
Yeah.
No,
I
you
don't
can
think
help
so.
them. Well,
It-
you're thinking the right thing, but what is it doing? I don't know. It's not gonna. The clue's not gonna work.
Well, I'm trying to visualize the phrase you said. The more you know. The logo. It is it a rainbow? It's like a band of maybe 3 colors trailing a star, and then it says the more you know near or on that. Am I thinking of the right thing?
Oh. Darn. Dome is in the way.
No, it's not a peacock, guys. Peacock is a symbol for NBC, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
The more you know. No, it's not gonna make any sense. I'll just give it to you. It's
Are
the
you thinking
flaming
it-
star.
What?
Oh,
The flaming star, because the star shoots across and it's kind of sparkling behind it before it turns into the rainbow.
Oh yeah.
So it's supposed to be a flaming
Yeah,
star.
I know that star. In fact, there's a flaming star nebula associated with it. Remember?
Yeah, we've looked at it fairly recently,
Oh,
I
we
think.
sure have. We sure have. There we go. Okay, so for those that want to know what the flaming star nebula looks like, here it is. This is the one that Amanda's talking about. That's the processed flaming star nebula, guys.
It's an emission
Nice.
nebula.
It's an emission and a reflection nebula. So you see the blue part. Okay, so it's a reflection there and emission up here. You're absolutely right.
See, when I clicked on it and I saw that, I thought that would be cool
It
to
is.
see.
Yeah, and
It is.
it's just not in the part of the sky we can see right now. I mean, it is up, yes, but it's not. The dome has to move. The telescope has to move, of course. I can show you where it is, but I think it's like in Cassiopeia, right?
Maybe, I forget. Is that one of your finished process pictures, Mark? That's very nice.
Yes, it is. I sent it to you.
I'm sure you did.
Yeah, I did.
Well,
I wanted you
actually,
to see it.
I saw that in my downloads earlier today.
Okay. All right, let's check out this one.
That's funny. I see two nebulas side by side. Do you know what they're called?
I mean, you're not talking about the flaming star nebula.
No, it's to the left.
Oh yeah, okay.
Heart and soul?
Nope. But they go together.
Kind of like heart
A
and soul
villain
goes
and a
together.
victim.
What?
A villain and a victim.
Ooh. Oh, that's a good one. Okay, folks. Start thinking.
It's to the left. They're two separate nebulas. They're to the left of the flaming star nebula. One is a villain, and one is its victim.
First thing I think of is Snidely Whiplash, and
Oh,
what was the name of the girlfriend of the Mountie?
I'm Dudley Do Right.
Yeah, Dudley Do Right. And what was,
I'll get you, Fernell.
what was
No.
his squeeze's name?
No.
Nell. Thank you.
Yes. No, Dudley. I'll unhand her, Whiplash.
Not in your life, Dudley Do Right.
Wasn't Dudley Do Right Canadian?
Yes, a Royal Mountie.
Oh, did you say he was a Mountie?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a Mountie.
Nice.
Yes. I forget the music for Dudley Do Right, but as you can see, I'm kind of a idiot savant when it comes to those
And Daniel is on fire. Did
Spider
either
in the
Mark
Fly.
or Daryl get
Well
the
done.
Spider in the Fly?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, no.
And just kind of taking a peek at Stellarium here and there, and I just noticed that they were close by each other, and I thought that was funny.
They are indeed.
Astronomers are pretty funny.
Yeah, they are indeed close by, as a matter of fact. And let's
I guess they're too far to see in the same shot, though, eh?
correct. However, I can show you because we imaged those one night as well. And here is this is the Spider Nebula that I'll show you right now. Here it's coming up. So here's the Spider Nebula. Right there. Okay. That's a spider. Okay. And now,
You say so.
yeah. Well, you're not going to actually see these things, so that's
Looks
I
like
mean,
a
shouldn't there
crook.
be like eight stars and a big one in the middle or something, like 4 on each side?
well, that's what you would look for.
No, I don't see the spider in that.
Well, I don't think much people do. And here's the Fly.
Oh, the satellite.
Yep, you're right. We got a satellite going through, and here's the Fly Nebula. The spider is over here to the left of us. And we have the fly. So there's the spider and the fly, Daniel Whitaker. As imaged, we imaged this, oh gosh, let's see. We imaged this, I can tell you exactly when we imaged this. We imaged this, the date we imaged is on the 4th of November. So, the 4th of November. And that night we had done the Orion Nebula, the Horsehead, the Flaming Star Nebula, the Spider and the Fly. And just to show you how the Horsehead came out, this is the Horsehead from that night. You can see the edge of the Horsehead actually has a semi-translucent head on the top of the Horsehead. And you can see it very clearly here. It came out really nice. So Daryl,
That's one of the ones I can actually see. It looks like a knight, like a chess piece.
that's correct.
Yep.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
And this is
And that's Sigma Orion. over there.
See, I'm reading Daryl's mind. This is Sigma Orionis, which is actually illuminating this hydrogen gas, causing it to glow. And you can see this is a dark molecular cloud here, and this star's reflection is reflecting off dust in this cloud, and you're getting this cloudy look here, which is really pretty. So that was that night too. That was on the 4th of November as well.
That's a rather nice picture.
Yeah, it really came out nice. I was very pleased with that one. So this is the Horsehead Nebula, and thanks to the new filter, I mean, look at it, huh? You can actually see some three-dimensional hints in this nebulosity here. I just cannot wait to do this in Arizona. My gosh, this will come out so beautiful. I'm probably gonna, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. When I do first light in Arizona with the telescope, I guarantee you that I'm gonna be crying. I will.
Don't, because that means I'll be crying.
We're all gonna be crying our eyes out because it's gonna be just stunning stuff. Never seen it before.
I think Daryl's already making plans to be busy that night.
Oh yeah, he doesn't want to show that.
Doesn't want to
side
hear
of him.
us all crying and blubbering.
Yeah.
Gee, what did I do?
Nothing.
Would you cry too, Daryl? Would you get emotional at things like that? Or better question, have you ever been so moved at anything you've seen, either with your own telescope or?
I've been moved. I haven't been brought to tears. I told the story once at a star party I was hosting up in the mountains a long time ago.
Yes.
Jupiter was about to set, not long after sunset, and it was not a very good view, but if you look through the telescope, you could see the planet, you could see the light and dark bands on it, and you could see the moons around it. And an elderly lady came up to the telescope and looked at it, and she started crying. She just said it was the most beautiful thing she'd ever seen, and she started crying.
You didn't slap her around, right?
Just a little bit.
See that? Of course not.
I wouldn't do that.
No, of course
No,
not.
she was a nice lady, and I
very
patted
nice.
her on the back and
Said
what can I say?
Yeah, that's really cool.
But I mean, even that, like, seeing someone so moved, like,
Yes.
I don't know, that would make me emotional. Seeing someone that
Well,
moved, you know?
Sure, it's only
Maybe,
human.
so.
Yeah.
Well,
All right, I'm going to move us up to this guy right now.
I don't think I'm gonna be able to see the Cats movie
Why?
because I'm scared I'll cry. Well, I know I'll cry. I just don't want to be a blubbering idiot in the theater. Maybe I'll wait until it's out on pay-per-view or something online.
Wow.
It reminds me of Mitten, and I miss Mitten.
oh,
Sorry to hear that. Let's
the movie
see.
has quite a cast, I gather. I mean,
Yeah.
geez. Got
Everybody wants to play a cat. Hey, Amal, thank you.
Oh, thank you, Amal. Welcome.
Wow. Thank you so much,
He always
Amal.
has to make an entrance. Thank you, Amal. That's very sweet.
I don't. It's not an entrance. I think that's just a wonderful.
No, that's the first time he's been in chat,
Well.
and his name pops up in bright yellow.
Oh, okay. Well, that is a great entrance.
And it is a great entrance.
Amal, thank you very much.
Like, ta-da! I'm here.
Yeah, everybody that donates gets their own personal time on the telescope with me. So they're gonna get a night where the telescope is exclusively theirs to control.
Cool.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna make sure that all works. And so people that donate, I have a list of everyone that donates. So they're gonna get their own time on the telescope to go wherever they want. And when it's a roll-off roof, then there's no limitations in the sky. You can go anywhere you want that we can see if it's up. And that's what it's going to be about. That's what we're going to do. So that's the plan for the people that actually take the time to donate if they want to donate to that cause. And I'm not saying people have to donate, but if you do, I'm going to thank you somehow. I don't just take it and run. I mean, that's not what I do. But I do want to make.
Arizona.
No, I'm going to run to Arizona because I can't stand the cold. And the caveat is the skies are gorgeous. All right, so we're looking at another object here. This is Messier 35 in Gemini, also known as the shoe buckle cluster.
I was going to use that as one of my clues.
Oh.
It was going to be pilgrims might be interested in this. Okay, they're not the greatest clues, but I thought at least, people think pilgrims. Maybe they'd think of it. I don't know. But I actually had one and it kind of made sense, so.
Very good. Well, I'm sorry. I mean, I was just going to objects. So here we are. We're going to take a picture of this cluster. This is a cluster that, when you look at this through the eyepiece of a telescope, where you actually look through the glass, and you see this cluster, you'd be forgiven for missing this one down here. Okay? Because you probably wouldn't see it, because it's really so faint relative to the other, relative to this Messier 35 here. And if we look at the screen here, we can actually identify that we're actually centered on that little cluster. It's called NGC 2158. All right. Also, Melat 40 is the name of it. But this cluster here, Messier 35, okay, is just a most amazing cluster. You can see it in binoculars. It's extensive. It's large. And it's got all these beautiful young hot stars in it. It's just amazing. So when we look at it, okay, and let me try and grab it here if I can. There it is. All right. Its distance is 2,700 light years away. NGC 2158, on the other hand, I don't think we actually have a distance, which implies that it wasn't known at the time this was done, but it has a redshift. So we have what's called recessional velocity. However, one thing to notice about this, and we're going to come back now, is this is Messier 35, and this is 2158 or 2158, right? Did I get that right? Come on, let me get that again. Come on, let's just come up a second. Yeah, 2158. Well, 2158, if you notice, it has a different color, doesn't it? These are hot and blue. This looks more reddish. And it does have that visual color. And notice I say visual color because this cluster is probably substantially more distant. And probably we're seeing the light of this cluster being reduced by intervening dust in interstellar space. Well, that interstellar space does something when you have this dust in it. When light passes through it, some of the blue light from the stars is scattered in a number of directions, kind of like blue sky is made. Same reason. And as Daryl said the other night, it's called Rayleigh scattering for within our atmosphere. And looking at that, well, this is blue light scattering as well. And the other term that you'll hear bandied about is that this cluster is suffering something called interstellar reddening. And so the cluster looks artificially redder because of the dust that is attenuating or reducing the brightness of the light reaching your eye. So that's I'm guessing that this is a one of those such clusters where interstellar reddening is making it this way. Now there's a possibility that the information can be shown here. I'm trying to see if we've got any that gives me the clues.
How far away is M35?
M35 is like 2200. See? 2772 according to this.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, you could maybe say that if you called M35 an average size star
I know where you're going. Yeah, you're right.
And then if you look at the NGC object there, if it was an average star cluster, that it appears that much smaller, how much farther away would it have to be?
Yeah, and another way you could do it actually is compare the reddening of the stars in M35 to the reddening of the stars in 2158. Because they're so close in space, it's very likely that the same amount of material, past the Gemini cluster, will be in play as before the clusters to our eye. So that means that we could actually study the reddening alone and try and come up with a guess to the distance of that cluster. And there's another thing we can do too. It's called the cluster fitting method to try and figure out their distance. You compare the cluster's brightness, both absolute, it's called, and apparent, and you take their apparent magnitude because you don't know the absolute magnitude because you need the distance. Well, we know the distance to the big cluster, to M35. So we get something called an absolute magnitude, the brightness the cluster would have if it was 10 parsecs away, or 32.6 light years. Okay?
Yes.
And if we measure that brightness, that we calculate that brightness, that gives us something called a distance modulus. Capital M is the absolute magnitude, little m is the apparent magnitude. How bright it appears to our telescope is the apparent magnitude. How bright it appears at 10 parsecs, 32.6 light years, is going to be a different number, and it's going to be brighter than we see here because this is 2,700 light years away, and we're asking it to come 32 light years away. And so that gives us a distance modulus. But then we can also figure that if we can get the apparent magnitude now of NGC 2158, we're missing the absolute magnitude. But if we put the clusters on a diagram and we plot them, we can come up with a way to match the distant clusters lines such that we can get its absolute magnitude. And that'll give us a rough estimate of its distance. And the rough estimates actually can be pretty accurate. So that's sort of what they call cluster fitting. You have to have whole clusters of stars, and the clusters do have to be somewhat similar. And these two kind of are. And they need to be nearby each other too, especially if you're going to go down the path of calculating reddening and so forth, interstellar reddening. So you see, there's a whole lot of ways to find distances to things in the universe. And that's part of our cosmological distance ladder, right, Daryl, that we talk about in the past. You know? And by the way, while I got all of you here, meaning the audience listening and watching, SkyTour Radio for tomorrow night is a live show, but the show is going to feature concepts perhaps that you might like to hear. So throw some topics in the chat, and the show's not written yet. It's going to happen tomorrow.
Intent.
No, it's fine, you know. And if you guys If you guys want, no, I have concepts, I have ideas, but I'm happy to massage those into something else. You know,
Women can be meaner than any man.
well, or misleading.
It wasn't very subtle. It's like, do you guys have any ideas? I mean, the show's not written yet, so.
Yeah, well, I write them every Sunday. So, I mean, I'm just throwing it out there if you guys want to. And, you know, I've talked to you guys.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I've told folks, I said, you know what, and Daryl, you asked me today, is the show written? I said, no, I haven't written it yet. I write them on Sunday.
Yeah.
You know, that way, you got to remember, okay, the stuff I talk about is coming out of my head, so I just have to make some bullet points. I don't have to write a show word for word in a script. You know, and that's kind of, I think, what makes it all much easier for me. It's just, you know, I'm just going through and saying, oh, let's talk about Wolf-Rayet stars. Oh, let's talk about planetary nebulae and how Wolf-Rayet stars might actually be responsible for planetary nebulae. We can do that. Well, I just write that, and that's an hour right there. You know, you can just talk to that, and then and you'll have questions. You'll want to offer stuff too. Amanda will ask questions because she wants to learn about stuff. Beach Dennis says, okay, black holes. See, we can talk about black holes. And we can talk about the status of the Event Horizon Telescope looking at Sagittarius A, for instance. Those are good concepts. And that's why I offer it up, you know. So, like
Sure.
I said, so black holes are a cool idea.
Oh, I could talk
Ronald,
about the observational astronomy thing I mentioned to you earlier. You know,
Yeah.
what's happening in the sky, how Venus has been really nice and
Yeah.
getting nicer, and Jupiter and Saturn have been up there dancing with it, and I could probably even tell you a dog bite story.
Oh, man. Does Amanda know that one?
Yes, I can't
Yes.
believe it.
Okay. Folks, I just got to tell you, you know what?
This is why I don't usually go near dogs.
Daryl was bitten by a dog yesterday. And
while looking at Venus.
yeah, and trying to be helpful about showing people the sky, a dog with quote-unquote sleeve issues, because we don't ever wear shirts with sleeves on them, decided to take a bite out of his arm, you know. And
Yeah.
I that's not a dog that should be walking around in public. That's a dog that needs to be removed
Well, I agree.
from public.
Yeah, and the other dog the guy was walking was a purebred pit bull. And the one that bit me looked like a pit bull cross, like pit bull boxer maybe. Had those big floppy lips and jaws, you know.
Oh,
But he
okay.
looked like a pit bull, the way he was built.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That could have been a disaster story, Daryl. You know,
It could have been.
because if the other dog
I mean,
said,
you only got your arm. Imagine if that was a kid. That could have been right in their face.
well, I
Yeah.
mean, if Daryl went down to the ground, then it could have gone for Daryl's throat because it's an instinctive attack, you know.
Well, I probably shouldn't have brought that up.
Daryl, why?
I don't know. Oh, it's tawdry. Yeah,
yeah, but it's not your
I've
tawdry.
been doing this going on 40 years,
Yeah.
and that is maybe the most negative thing that's ever happened to me, observing and, you know, trying to show something to other people to share with. And,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, it was
But yes, that
it's
guy.
disheartening.
Thank you. Yeah, that's the word.
Definitely is
And
disheartening.
thinking back on it for what you just said, I mean, if I had fallen, well, the guy's other dog was a pit bull, looked to be a purebred, and that was just a happy, jolly dog. And it wanted to, you know, it wanted attention, and I patted it on the head just a little bit and talked to it, and it was so jolly happy, it did almost knock me down.
Mm-hmm.
But then you start thinking, you know, geez, what if instinct had kicked in with that dog, or if the one had, you know, started on me if I was down, and the other dog might have jumped in for, you know, support or something. Well, you know, he would have jumped on me too.
Well, they're all opportunists. Dogs are opportunists, you know, so you're right.
Yeah.
And that's why I bring it up, because I would not want to lose a good astronomer to the stupidity of a dog owner.
Yeah, I'm kind of feeling that way too.
All right.
But anyway, yeah, I could tell you another story that happened a few days before that.
All right.
This is why I'm starting to get the feeling I don't want to talk to people in public, real life, about astronomy anymore. I told Amanda this one too. I have been following Venus for weeks, okay?
Okay.
And she's finally rising up high enough where you can see it in the southwest soon after sunset. Jupiter was up there. Jupiter's now past Venus and is rapidly dropping away in the southwest, going to go behind the sun soon. And Saturn is about to take Jupiter's place. It's now about to pass Venus. Well, I was out looking some nights ago, and these two kids walked by, and they're not little babies, okay? One was a good-sized kid, and the other one looked like his rather little brother. I pointed out Venus and Jupiter for them, and they had the most awful reaction to me. It was stranger danger. They looked like they thought I was going to attack them or something. Or, like the free candy sign painted on the van, or, hey, you want to pet my puppy, and that kind of thing. And that was the most disheartening. That was more disheartening than the dog bite was.
Wow.
Just, I had never had such a reaction from people before.
Yeah.
They had fear written on their faces. And that really hurt.
Well, I think that actually, to me, that actually, I've seen that before. And I don't think that's anything that is your fault per se, and you know that. It's actually the fault, if you want to think of it as fault, it's actually the realm of the parent. The parents decided that they don't want their kids to talk to strangers. You engage them, and unfortunately they reacted negatively, and it was probably because they were taught to react negatively. So
Sure.
It's their loss, but they're just doing what they think is the right thing to do. They didn't know who you were.
Well, the world has changed. Jesus. I'm sorry. It's education, it's parents, it's all that. It's
Sure.
Nowadays, instead of don't start forest fires or Smokey Bear, it's stranger danger.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. The world has changed. What can I say?
Yes, and words that rhyme get us in trouble.
Yeah. Carry on, please.
Oh yeah,
Let's
I
talk
have
about
been.
something.
I have been. This is the 37 cluster. Remember you asked about this?
Oh, yes, the E37. Can we see the whole cluster at once in the same field?
I'm gonna look and see.
Yeah, there it is.
Okay. And
See the 3 and 7.
I see the 3 and the 7. Now, just to point it out to you guys, let me zoom in a little bit. Okay.
Go. That's nice.
Here's the 3, and here's the 7. See it? 37
Yes.
cluster. It's a very appropriately named.
Yeah. Thank you, Mark.
Yeah. Well, you wanted to see it earlier, so I wanted to show it to you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. The 37 cluster is really cool. I've never actually imaged it until tonight. First time.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen it in a telescope, of course. It's been a while.
Yeah. Well, you're seeing it in the telescope again.
Yeah, I am.
You are. And let's see how we are looking for the moon. I'm going to guess it's about 25 degrees up. Let's find out. It's 32, 31. So we're still a ways. So it's low, but not low enough. Yeah, we're going to be polluted by the moon for the rest of the cycle here, which is okay. But we're not looking at anything but the fun clusters, aren't we? So that's pretty cool.
It is.
Yeah. because we got to see the 37 cluster, which is actually kind of cool. It almost looks like it's fake, doesn't it, folks? It almost doesn't look real. You know? Yeah.
That's a pretty clear one too.
Yeah. Yeah. And now how you say I don't see the puppy, I don't see the ship's bow, I don't see the, you know, well, you can't say you don't see the 37 in the 37 cluster. Right?
Yeah, I guess. Well, it's a cluster, but would you call that an asterism also?
Oh yeah, it'd be an asterism. But it's an asterism within the 37 cluster, only in the fact that the 37 cluster is probably made up of more stars than are showing the actual 37. Some of these other stars are going to be in this cluster too, and thus the 37 is an asterism within the cluster probably. And that's just a guess. It's just a guess. I had to turn the red lights back on.
It's nicely done.
Yeah, it's beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I know. It reminds me of there is an asterism in the summer sky. I don't remember if we've ever looked at. It's called the coat hanger.
Oh yes, we have. We've looked at the coat hanger.
We have. Okay, I forget. It's up around Sagitta or Vulpecula, one of those that area. You look at it and you just say, "Geez, that's a coat hanger."
That's right. That's right.
Geez, this looks like 37.
Yeah, I mean, this is clearly the 37. You know, which is very cool. It's really a very, very cool thing. So, let's see now. And you can actually see the 37 without even a photo. You can just see it right there. Yep. Okay, so where we want to go now? We're at the 37 cluster. Let's see, where are we gonna head? Maybe.
Thank you for sharing that.
Of course. I thought that would be kind of nice. And now I know that Carol asked for the salt and pepper cluster, and this is the January salt and pepper cluster, which I don't really know why it's called the January salt and pepper cluster. So that's just a little aside there, Carol. Not sure. But let's check it out and see if we can see it without a dome problem. I'm doing pretty good tonight, you know. Let's see if the dome is going to look like it's going to a reasonable place or an non-reasonable place. Looks like it's looking straight up, doesn't it? So that might be okay. Shall we find out?
We shall.
Yes, we shall. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to drop us over and pop us back and do 10 seconds at 10,000 once again. All right. And now we should be able to see the result. Here it comes. Here you go, Carl. Salt and pepper cluster.
I see salt.
Yes, that's correct.
Well, maybe it's white pepper.
Mr. Literal. Yeah. No, it's definitely why you call it salt and pepper cluster, I don't know. Can't answer that question. But I do know that in order to see the whole thing, we need to move it up. Move it up more. Gotta move it on up to the east side. Or the west side. I don't know which one it is.
East.
East, okay, thank you. Alright. So let's now take another photo of the January salt and pepper cluster. This is a request for Carol Carl, because she asked about salt and pepper earlier. I know, Carol. White pepper, Daryl says. White pepper. If there was
And
such a
Dennis
thing.
wants to see M87 if we can see that after.
Oh, I wish.
Wrong.
Wrong.
Wrong time of year.
Yeah.
It's in Virgo. Virgo's in the morning sky,
Yeah.
a little bit to the west of the sun right now. Well, the sun's in Scorpio, so it's 2 zodiac signs west of Scorpius, west of the sun.
Yeah. Sorry about that, Dennis, but we will do our best to show you something else if you like. Just let us know what you'd like to see. Daisy and Zoe, see their request? Peanut butter and jelly cluster.
That sounds awful familiar. God, didn't we talk about such a
I
thing?
think we have. I think we did. Is there a peanut butter and jelly cluster? And Amanda's going to look it up. If it's existent, she will find it.
There's a peanut nebula.
Yeah, but where is that?
No peanut butter and jelly.
No.
Hold on.
But the peanut nebula is not anything we can see.
Peanut nebula. Well, hold on.
You know, now that I think about it, we may have been talking that there should be a nebula called the Peanut Butter and Jelly Nebula. Wasn't that what we were saying that night?
I kind of recall that.
Is it in the Gemini Nebula?
Gemini Nebula? No. Well, I mean, there's no Gemini Nebula, right?
Well, I'm looking at it.
Oh.
It's Planetary Nebula. Yeah. Gemini Nebula, also known as Ant Nebula, Double Bubble Nebula, and Peanut Nebula.
That's right.
It's a planetary nebula.
Where is that, though? Is that
How can I tell you?
the constellation? Is it
NGC number?
Well, is it
No.
is it the constellation of Antlia? Is it a southern hemisphere object? Is what I'm asking.
How can I tell that?
You find out what the constellation is.
It's near Pollux.
Oh, it is?
Yep.
So it's actually in Gemini.
I guess, yeah.
Okay. Well, this is Carol's Salt and Pepper Nebula. I'm sorry, Carol, I can't see any pepper. But that's okay. And now, if it's something that's near Pollux that we're going to look for...
It looks like it's in between Pollux and Castor and down.
Okay, well, shall we look for it?
Sure. I have an NGC number if you want.
Salt and pepper is a nice cluster.
Yeah, it is. It's really pretty. It reminded me of M35, too.
There's the Sombrero Nebula. Yes, Dennis,
you
there
look
is.
just below center in the salt and pepper. There's like a big black void there. Sort of a 3-lobe thing. Kind of reminds me of the propeller you see in M13.
Oh. You're talking about in the
I
actual
wanna
photo.
see.
Yeah, right in the cluster. Kind of
Okay.
through the center, going down, and then spreading out to the left and the
Well,
right.
how about if I show you again? So, here, oh, wait a minute. Alright, so here's the cluster. Are you talking here?
No,
Or
right
this.
in the cluster. The lower part of the cluster itself.
Right here.
If you go back to... okay, I'm sorry. I'm looking at...
Oh, you're looking at YouTube. You gotta look at the live feed.
I'm looking, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, right there.
Okay, yep. Right here. Yep. You can actually see that. There's actually a void here and a void
Yes.
here. See? Double void
Yeah,
with a bar of stars in
yeah,
between. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really cool. All right. So that's the benefit of being able to just store these and come back to them. Now let's go and... Where was I going? Oh, yes. I was trying to find what you said.
The Peanut Nebula.
Yes, the peanutty nebula, the number of peanutty nebulas, and you said it was over by Castor and Pollux.
Yeah. Why don't you just type it in?
Well,
You'll really have to zoom in to find it.
well, the object should be listed, but I see a lot of galaxies.
It's above 1 gem.
Okay, well then let me just do this. You know, I know you want me to just like look for it, Amanda, but how about if I just type it in?
That's what I was saying.
Okay, Peanut Nebula. Let's see where it is. See how close I was. Not far. Okay. Let's check it out, folks. Let's go to the Peanut Nebula.
And there was something else I saw close by that I'd like to say. The Twinkling Comet Cluster.
Oh, I actually looked at that
Does
earlier.
that sound?
We did look at it.
Oh, did we?
Yeah, but you didn't see it because I didn't really announce it. You were talking about one of the entries in your contest. Yeah, so I didn't actually get to see it. I didn't actually get to show you. You know, specifically. We did have it up, but we couldn't end up looking at it.
Did you take pictures of it?
Yeah, we took pictures. Okay.
Dennis, there is a Sombrero Nebula.
Sombrero
Galaxy. Yeah, it's also in Virgo. It's in the morning sky right now. It's very impressive in a telescope.
Yeah, and Dennis, as much as I really like everything and everybody, I don't think I'm going to be able to, stay up that late.
Well, you could go to bed and get up again.
Oh, sure.
Morning session.
I'm going to be doing enough of that when this is in Arizona. As I said,
I bet you will be.
We're going to want to do... Whoa, that was weird. The telescope just bounced. Oh, look at that. There it is. I have never seen this before. Look at that. There's the Peanut Nebula right there, guys. That's beautiful.
Amanda, did you say this is a planetary?
It is, yeah. But she did say it.
Did I?
Yes. You said it in passing. Wow, that's pretty cool. Okay, let's play with this a little bit. People are like,
That kind of
no, don't do that, man.
reminds me of the little dumbbell you looked at recently.
That's correct. It does have that look, doesn't it? All right. So let's do 15 seconds at 12,800. We're going to go 5 more seconds on this and see what we get. I really like to see some more detail in this beauty. That's beautiful. Because right now we can't see the connecting. There's just a subtle hint of the connecting data in there.
Yeah. Well. Yeah, you see the 2 lobes, kind of like the big and little dumbbell, and that one looks almost like it's swirling around the edges, like the little dumbbell does.
Yeah.
Saw you show the other day.
Yep. This is beautiful. I've never seen this before.
Well, you can thank Daisy and Zoe. They suggested the peanut butter and jelly, and peanut came
correct. Oh, Daisy and Zoe, thanks. You guys are wonderful. This is the beauty of it. You may not get the answer to Amanda's crazy questions, but what you do is you start us down another path that's really cool. Very, very cool. And I really appreciate it. This is beautiful. Look at the beautiful teal blue of oxygen 3 here. Gosh, that's just something else, isn't it?
It's called serendipity.
You got it.
But there really should be a peanut butter and jelly nebula, darn it.
I agree. But alas, folks, that music, tells you that we're at the end of SkyTour LiveStream for tonight. We started with this music, and we're ending with this music.
Wow. Not too abrupt.
And Amanda, as subtle as ever.
Okay.
No. I wanted to make this the last object because my voice is going, and I know that I'm gonna end up coughing a lot. mean, for you, Amanda, if you want me to stick around and do this, I will continue to cough and gag.
We have another 2 hours to do tomorrow night. Hopefully you guys can all join us at kgraradio.com.
Oh, yes, for SkyTour Radio. This is SkyTour LiveStream here, and then SkyTour Radio you can join us for. But I hope you'll join us, and if you haven't subscribed to SkyTour LiveStream, please consider doing that and then hitting the bell to get notified when we go live. We have had a banner year, and we added a special filter to the telescope, and that filter is delivering on the promise. It was probably the best purchase that I've ever made for SkyTour LiveStream. And this is going to be one of two setups. We're going to have another identical telescope in Arizona, out in the middle of the Sonoran Desert, 60 miles west of Phoenix. And it's on a 5-acre parcel with nothing for acres in every direction and just the observatory. And that land is ours to use. And we're going to have multiple piers inside the building. And this is going to give you an opportunity to actually use the telescope on your own, if you want. Certain, people that join us and come along for the ride will be gifted with having some telescope time. They can just do that and, have me or Daryl actually probably by their side, remotely, of course, helping them figure things out and enjoying the concepts of astronomy. But that's something for about, I'd say, 3 or 4 months away. But the GoFundMe page, if you're interested in the GoFundMe, I don't know if Amanda can put
Ronald actually beat me to it.
Oh, thank you, Ronald.
He's put it up at least twice tonight.
Thank you, guys.
We appreciate that. Thank you.
And the link to SkyTour LiveStream, if you haven't been there, please come on to YouTube, join us, and just hang out with us.
Hit the bell because it depends on weather. We can't say, it's going to be every Monday night or anything like that. It's
right
when the skies are clear.
Yeah,
take advantage.
In Connecticut, where we are located, we're all the way across the country from Arizona. We have fewer clear nights than Arizona. In Arizona, you can expect 300 clear nights a year in our region where we're going to be. And the humidity is next to nothing. Here, the humidity can be anywhere in the 60% range to higher. In Arizona, if the humidity ever reached 60%, it'd be a surprise. I literally use a dish towel to dry off after a shower. I don't even use a full-size towel. You do not have to. The humidity is at 6% sometimes, 22% when it's quote-unquote humid there. So the telescope is not going to be encumbered by dew caps or anything like that because you simply don't need them there. So it's going to be a beautiful sight, and it's also going to be observatory number 2. We're going to have one in the northeast, and we're going to have one in the southwest. So I imagine we'll probably open up the observatory at, say in the winter, say 6 p.m. in Connecticut, and go, say, till about 8 p.m. In Connecticut, close down Connecticut, and open up Arizona, and go live in Arizona for the rest of the time. So we'll be able to do, not make like a 4-hour streams, that's what we'll do. So, because it's a 2-hour difference for me, so if it's 6 o'clock here, of course, it's 4 o'clock there. So when it's 8 o'clock here, it'll be 6 o'clock there, and dark for them too. And being that it's farther south, we're going to have a few more southern exposure objects we're going to be able to look at. And Daryl wants to see Omega Centauri, so we have to do that.
You betcha.
Yeah, that's right. But folks, I want to thank you for coming along. You guys have been great. We ended on the Peanut Nebula here. And this is what's called a bipolar planetary nebula. It doesn't mean it has attitude problems. Doesn't mean it has problems assimilating into society. It means that it has these two very pronounced lobes coming off from it here. and you can see the star in the center that is powering it all, causing this to illuminate and fluoresce. So I suspect that we will see these in so much more detail. And with the new telescope, the other thing that I got to tell you is everything that we're doing now is less than 30-second exposures. We're doing 20 seconds, 15 seconds, 30 seconds. The new system is going to be able to take unlimited exposures for as long as we want to. Now, I'm not going to do 5-minute exposures and make you sit through that. Okay? But I might do 1 or 2-minute exposures with you. Especially if something faint like the Horsehead Nebula. Oh, can you imagine? In a dark sky area like that. Just a 2-minute shot of the Orion region with the Horsehead Nebula. And imagine that.
Yeah.
Imagine that with the wide angle, with the Richfield 5-inch refractor. Because we're going to have that on the scope too at all times. And so that's going to be able to have a second entire camera system that's going to be dedicated just to doing the wide angle stuff. Now, I'm writing a lot of computer code to program the microcontrollers that are going to do all the little dirty work of doing the stuff. And it has to be robust. It can't fail because I can't get out there and just say, oh, let me go move the dome or let me go into the dome. I can't do that. I'm going to be 2,700 miles away for a few more months while that's out there. So that's going to be one of those things where I'll be having someone on site to do emergency work if there's a problem. And I've got a few people in mind to do that, and we'll see what happens. One of them has been a frequent contributor here. It's not Daryl, it's not Amanda. He's never been on the air with me. But someone in the chat. So, no, Raymond would be great if he was out there, but he's, I don't think he is. But anyway, I have a lot of people in Arizona. I have more friends in Arizona than I do in Connecticut, and I've lived in Connecticut all my life. That tells you how friendly the people are out there. I've been going to Arizona for years, and I've never had to stay in a hotel. Whenever I go, it's like, no, you got to stay with me. No, stay with me. I literally went out there one time, and Alejandro Rojas, a good friend, all right, and Marianne, of course, you know in the chat here. I was staying at Marianne's, and Marianne said one time, well, you got to go for a couple days with Alejandro because he and Karen want to see you. So I spent 2 days at their place. They're really friendly people out there, and it's not, it's actually the way they are. They live life that way, and that's what I need. I need friendly, good people around me. Connecticut is a very fast-moving. It's near New York. It's between Boston and New York, so everybody's fast-moving. They live life really fast out here, and they burn out. I've watched it. So I don't fit because I'm not like that. I think you guys know that. I'm not a cutthroat type of guy. If I was, I'd be a millionaire, and I'd be taking no prisoners and wouldn't care. I'd be stealing Amanda's milk money, that kind of thing. Anyway, officially space just came in. Well, hey there, and we're closing up because we did about just under 3 hours here, and I need to save my voice for tomorrow night's show. But guys, thank you so much. I'm really happy you came with me, Amanda and Daryl. As always, namaste.
Thank you all for humoring me with my game.
I thought it was a great game. We're gonna do more of that. If
I had been more prepared, maybe I could have had better clues. It was seriously, I just pitched this before we came on air.
That's right, and it actually was pretty cool.
Stellarium up and running, so
it was pretty cool. Yeah, well, you did a nice job. It was really well done. So I think that perhaps, we'll be seeing more of that with you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There'll be no stopping her now that she has Stellarium.
Yeah, I know.
If I can figure out how to work it, I'm getting lost quite often.
Well, you start simple. The N for November brings up the nebulae. Okay, C.
N for nebula, yeah.
Yeah, and C brings up constellations. R brings up the artwork.
Realistic pictures.
Just think of artwork, artwork. Okay? Or realistic pictures, sure, however you do it. Okay? Z brings up the line so you can see how high above the horizon something is, but that's not something you really care about. And then when you select an object, then all the data shows for it. And I've noticed that a lot of the stellarium information is wrong, but that's okay. It's not. I don't give out the wrong stuff. I just correct it on the spot or just don't show it. But you guys, you all be good out there, okay? And we will.
And if you can't be, don't get caught.
If you That's our Amanda. So from Amanda and Daryl and I want to thank you all for coming, and I'm sure they have their words for you. And we're going to sign off here. And I will talk to you very soon. Amanda, Daryl, what do you got to say?
Good night, everybody. Thanks for hanging. I had fun. Thank you, Mark.
Oh, of course.
Thank you, Amanda.
Thank you, Daryl. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, chat.
Good night, John Boy. All right, folks. We'll see you. We'll see you in the flip flop. We'll see you tomorrow, probably. If it's clear, we shall stream again. If not, then
SkyTour Radio.
SkyTour Radio.
Yep.
That's right. So see you guys. And remember, the best thing to do is to just keep looking up.
Except while you're driving.
You got it.